Hi everyone, it's RAXX, and finally the information we have been waiting for. Here is the Diablo 3 Season 25 PTR notes. You know what to do. Let's just look through it and see what we have. So the PTR is coming on Thursday, November 4th, so in 3 days. You already know I'm going to be blasting it all day. Come by the stream. Let's see what's up. PTR testing tips. We don't need tips. We test it every time. So here's the seasonal theme. Season 25 introduces a new type of socketable item called Soul Shards. Nephilim can find 7 unique Soul Shards based on the Lords of Hell, which give players demonic new powers. One of the 3 primeval Soul Shards can be equipped into helmets, and one of the 4 lesser evil Soul Shards, why can't I say that word, can be equipped into weapons. Each Soul Shard can be upgraded 3 times using a new seasonal exclusive consumable, the Hellforge Ember. Soul Shards and Hellforge Embers can drop from anywhere, but Soul Shards have a higher chance to drop from bosses. They cannot be traded, but they can be salvaged or utilized in Kaldasan's Despair. This is kind of interesting. Kaldasan's Despair is augmenting, so it's like we can level them up like legendary gems or something. You may only equip 1 primeval Soul Shard and 1 lesser evil shard at a time. And lastly, Soul Shards and Hellforge Embers only drop in seasonal play and will not transfer to your non-seasonal character when it ends. With the upcoming 25th anniversary of the Diablo franchise, we wanted players to delve into the darker side of the Nephilim's past. In Season 25, players can embrace evil by infusing themselves with the essences of the Lords of Hell. Players will embark on their season journey to discover and upgrade demonic Soul Shards based on the 7 Lords of Hell. By embodying a prime and a lesser evil, players will inflict new forms of pain and suffering on the demons of Sanctuary. Notice how it says new forms. Can't wait for players to get their hands on Soul Shards to start unlocking their true power. So remember, in Season 24, when a lot of people started reading the patch notes, by the way, this wasn't me, but when a lot of people started reading them, and they said that ethereals would have new powers, everyone kind of wrote ethereals off, right? They were like, oh, how good could that be? But ethereals turned out to be godly. So what I'm thinking is they could do something epic with these powers. Like, for example, I don't know, maybe you get the power of Mephisto, and you can just float, and you can move at the speed of light, and you can shoot chain lightning and lightning balls. I have no idea. But it does say you will get new forms of pain and suffering to inflict. So maybe they're going to give you powers like from the prime evils. And that might be really cool. So let's not judge it until we see what comes out. And remember, if we're putting it in our helmet, that means we lose the 12 cooldown. If we're putting it in our weapon, it means we lose the 130 crit hit damage. So it has to be significantly better than 13 cooldown and 130 crit hit damage, which are already insane buffs, right? So I'm gonna expect that these are gonna be super powerful and they're gonna be really cool. So I'm gonna be hunting these immediately on Thursday. I'm gonna get all 7 of them and let's see what they do. Pretty cool idea. Let's see what the powers are. Yes, let's get to the item changes. So Remorseless. While Wrath the Berserker and Call of the Ancients are active, Hammer of the Ancients deals 800% increased damage. I believe right now it's 250. So this is a pretty significant buff. So if we go here with our calculator, we take 9 divided by 2.5. It's like 3.6. So that's like 8 tiers. Something like 8 tiers. So if we go to the tier list, and we go to Barb, and we look at where the Hodas are. Hodas are about 10 tiers behind S tier. Move them up 8 tiers, and you're going to notice a theme here. They're buffing all the builds are like mathematically right around like the S and the A tier. They're going to make the changes to bring these builds about in this area. So I can tell it was done on purpose. So all of the Hoda players, you're going to have a top tier build next season for Barbs. Most of the changes, though, are for the Witch Doctor, and I'm not a Witch Doctor main, but it's about time, right? Because Witch Doctors have sucked for a long time. So, Shakrani's Triumph, which is an offhand, Spirit Walk lasts until you attack 3 times or until an elite enemy is within 20 yards. I believe it's until you attack or until any enemy is within 30 yards. So it lets you spirit walk far more often, which is usually a critical part of how witch doctors stay alive. But now your attacks in the spirit realm are going to deal double damage. So not only is it going to make it easier for you to stay in the nether realm where you can move freely and not take any damage, but also you're going to deal double damage while you're there. And there's already like S tier builds for witch doctors, like the spirit barrage build. So if you for example, if you take away Vu's juicer and you use this instead and cube it and use gazing demise, this is going to be a huge buff, not only to your damage, but to your survivability. Lakumba's ornament reduces all damage taken by 60% if your soul harvest stacks are at least 1 to 3. So this just makes it much easier to apply. And it gives you 2 additional stacks for 2% for each stack of soul harvest. So I think you can get 5 by default, and you could get an extra 5 if you use Sacred Harvester. So this is going to be much easier to apply. And if you use certain powers or certain powers like Sacred Harvester, you're going to get a huge buff. Up to, let's see, you get for each additional stack. So I actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I wonder when the additional stack starts counting. Does it count beyond 3? Or does it count at 0? Or I guess I actually don't know when the additional starts counting. Does it start counting at 4? I guess I don't know. We'll have to figure that out on the PTR. Spider Queen's Grasp. We're going to see a lot of changes to Corpse Spiders. Corpse Spiders now deal 800% increased damage, and they release a web and they slow everything. So major damage to Corpse Spiders. Corpse Spiders here are going to deal double damage from the Brood of RNA. And each spider bite is going to cause the target to take additional damage from the Corpse Spiders. So this might be extremely good for single target. It might be shredding the bosses. If you can put spiders everywhere and they're biting, and they're taking more damage, they might shred the bosses. The Spirit of Arashir. Corpse Spiders now spawn with health and attack twice as fast. And the 4-piece, we have a permanent Spider Queen that leaves behind webs. You take 75% reduced damage if you stand in the web, so kind of like a reverse Oculus ring. You stand in the web, you take no damage. And the Spider Queen is commanded to where you move your Corpse Spiders, so that's giving you a way to kind of control your Spider Queen instead of her just randomly running around. They've reworked the set, and as well as several of the legendary Witch Doctor items. With these changes, we hope to infuse the Spirit of Arashir with more flavor and gameplay, as well as give the Witch Doctor a much-needed power increase. So I think a lot of builds will use these 2 things, so that applies like across the entire class. And we'll have to see exactly how powerful the Spider Queen, the Spider set is going to be. But looking at the numbers, it looks like it's going to be pretty strong. So let's see how it goes. So here's another set that's terrible. Marauders, and they're reworking it. So the thing that they're adding to the 4-piece here is sentries. They deal 400% damage and cast these things when you do, but they automatically cast your equipped hatred spenders. Now, I actually looked at this for a while, and there's a couple different ways you can interpret this, but when you look at the developer's note where they're implementing its legacy functionality, you're just going to lay the sentries and they're just going to destroy for you. You can have 5 of them down at a time. And it says that they're shifting the power back to the sentries themselves. Excuse me. So you look at the 6-piece, and the thing that they changed about the 6-piece, I believe they added multi-shot to the 6-piece and impale. But here's the big thing. Sentries now deal 12,000% increased damage for every active sentry. You can have 5 of them up. So 5 times 12 is a 60,000 multiplier. So it's 60.1 on sentries, which translates into roughly 26 tiers of damage. So then we try to figure out, okay, where exactly does that put the Demon Hunter? So if we go here and we look at the Marauder cluster bombs in C tier, If we add 26 tiers to that, well, then it shoots it way past S tier, right? But that's not exactly what's happening, because Marauder in C tier currently has a 12,000% buff to you. You're the one doing all the damage. Now, yes, the 12,000% buff is still there for you, but your damage now is mostly irrelevant, and it's really how much damage your sentries do. But your sentries are such a small piece of the current pie of the damage that you're dealing. If we were to re-tier this build with just the sentry damage, it would be like F tier. How far down in F tier? It's hard to say. But we're moving essentially an F tier build, not a C tier build, up 26 tiers. So when we think about it that way, who knows where it will land? I'm still guessing it's going to land way up here. That's what the PTR is for. We'll test it. But this is going to be an amazing build for people that don't like to press a zillion buttons. You just lay your sentries, and they're just going to plow for you. So a very smooth play style on the Marauders, which is nice. And for all you Impale players out there, 75% or 75,000 damage is still there, but the 25k is going to apply to subsequent enemies. This is going to give you a huge way to clear the rift. Impale is already great at killing bosses in one target, so this is going to solve one of its problems on how good is it at clearing the rift. So Impale right now is sitting again at C tier. Now if you just applied a direct 25,000 multiplier, again, it would shoot straight to S tier, but it's not exactly how it works because a lot of the monsters you hit already get the 75k. So how many tiers is it going to be? I'm estimating, somewhere between 5 to 12 tiers as a guess. It's hard to say until we try it. But let's say it's 12 tiers. Again, it brings it around in this like A to S tier level. So the mathematics across here and how I think about it without trying it seems like they're bringing all of these builds up here. So the Bones of Rathma, same thing, did the math here. Again, they're bringing it up. Rathma is really a really unpopular build. But it is B tier. It is pretty good, but they will be bringing it up as well, again, into that A and S tier. So that's nice. Now, here is the part that I would change on the patch notes. Here's the part that I don't like. So they're nerfing Firebirds, right? Firebirds is way too strong. It needs to be nerfed. I'm cool with it. We had it for a few seasons. They're cutting the 2-piece in half, and they're cutting the 6-piece in half, the bonus. That is a crucifying nerf. It's gonna go out of S tier, probably to A tier, somewhere in A tier. It's a pretty big nerf. I don't disagree with the nerf. That's fine. I think Firebirds has to go down. What I disagree with is this is not the way that I would nerf it. The way that I would nerf it is I would get rid of Death Wish. Death Wish, when you channel, you sit there and channel, you do 325% increased damage. That is a huge multiplier, and it's pretty much, these days, only used by Firebirds. But it's a terrible playstyle that no one on planet Earth likes. I've never heard of anybody who likes Death Wish. You lay your sentries, or not your sentries, you lay your mirror images, and you sit there and you just channel. It's like the most anti-wizard play style. The fantasy is not there at all. You're supposed to be, the bringer of magic, the controller of the elements, and it's a very teleport-heavy build. And yet, because we have to use Death Wish, you spend half of the time just standing still, channeling a beam. It's terrible. I think this is the perfect opportunity to get rid of the bane of every wizard's existence and to trash the Death Wish weapon. Rework it, make it work for some other terrible wizard build, and get rid of the channel 320% multiplier. That would cut, let me do some, it would cut the Firebirds build down about 9 tiers. But Firebirds is so good right now. You could go down 9 tiers and just put this back where it was. Cut it down 9 tiers, get rid of Death Wish. I strongly prefer this nerf than the nerf that they've done here of just adjusting the numbers. I would absolutely love to know in the comments if you agree with me. Because if a lot of you agree with me, then I don't know, maybe they'll do it. But again, I'm not a wizard main, but one of the reasons I don't like playing wizard is because I'm standing there channeling my Death Wish all the time. And I hate that. I want to teleport around. I want to be a magical acrobat, and I want to take something else. So let me know if you agree. Please, let's get rid of Death Wish. Please. Yeah, so anyway, starts on Thursday. I'm going to be blasting it, guys. One shout out that I would like to give is, you probably have noticed if you ever watch my YouTube, I usually don't pick up sponsors very often. I decline almost all of them that come my way because, well, honestly, because I don't think you guys are going to like most of them. That's the main reason. You see in the bottom corner, we've had NordVPN forever. People love Nord. It is the best VPN out there. I used them before we were sponsored by them. But we did pick up a brand new sponsor who I really like, Apex Gaming PCs. Now, these guys are amazing for a lot of different reasons. First of all, they're a new company. They build PCs that are absolutely amazing. And they're a small group of people that love building PCs. It's not this gigantic warehouse that's just pumping out 10,000 PCs per day. These people actually sit there and build your computers. And they're super big on gaming. Gaming is everything to them, and they have picked up so many streamers. Look at how many streamers they're partnered with. And they recently asked me if I would join their team, had some meetings with them, really liked them. These are guys you should absolutely check out, really. So anyway, they asked me, we're going to build you 3 lines of PCs, a cheap one, and a middle one, and an expensive one. What would they be named? I said, that's easy. The cheap one should be good for D3. The middle one should be if you played D2R. It's got some upgraded graphics. And if you want the behemoth PC that's going to cost the most, that's going to crush D4 whenever it comes out in 78 years, that's the one for you. So anyway, check out Apex, guys. I really like these guys. Really. Believe me, I decline 99% of sponsorship offers. These guys are people that I think you may like. If you buy a PC, use code RAXX, get up to $250 off. I think they may be having some sales coming up with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff. If you need to buy a PC from someone, these are people that I would check out. These are the PCs I'm going to buy going forward and their peripherals because I like these guys. Anyway, that's it, guys. We're blasting the PTR. I've got Red Bulls in the fridge already. I'm going to test everything. I'm going to test the Spider Queen. I'll find all of these. I'll find them all. Believe me. You guys know me. I'll find them right away. I don't need to test the Barb. The Barb just got stronger. Don't need to test it. It's the same playstyle, it just got stronger. I don't need to test Firebirds. It just got weaker. Remove Death Wish, Blizzard. Remove it. Don't need to test Rathma, it just got stronger. But these playstyles and these power levels, the Spider Queen and the Marauder, we don't exactly know how they're going to be. So let's throw some spiders, guys, with the new powers and see what happens. Anyway, that's it. Let me know if you hate Death Wish in the comments. Make a big stink about it, and let's get rid of it. See you on Thursday, guys. Thank you.